I don't really know how to start this video, to be honest, but I've been sitting with this feeling for quite some time now. And I feel like I just need to let it out. So I'm already in my 40s. I'm single by choice. I've never been married. I don't have kids. And in a way, I have a lot of freedom. I have all the time in the world. I have space. I can pretty much do anything I want and make decisions on my own. But at the same time, I often feel like I'm just in the middle of everything, like not really lost, but well, yeah, I feel lost a lot of times, but not exactly sure where I'm going either. It's a strange place to be in because on the outside it looks like I have everything figured out, but on the inside there's still this quiet question of what am I really doing with my life? And sometimes that feeling gets heavy, not overwhelming, just just quietly heavy, like something you carry with you even on normal days. There are also moments when I look at other people my age and it seems like their lives are more defined in a way, like they already have families, clear responsibilities, clear roles, clear directions in life. Or maybe they're just as lost as I am, but it just doesn't show on the outside. I'm not really sure. But in times like this, when you're alone and just in your own thoughts, you don't really think about other people's lives. You're just kind of worried about your own life, about yourself. If someone asks me how I am, if I'm okay, if I'm doing fine, the quick answer is yes, I'm okay. But if I have to elaborate, I don't have the words or any explanation for how I'm actually feeling right now. It just feels empty. And I've been wondering if this is normal to feel like you're still learning in life at a stage where it feels like you're supposed to already know what you are doing, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to like navigate through life. In my last video that I posted, I was, sharing about my situation here as an expat living in the Middle East with, everything that's currently happening. And, lately I've just been thinking a lot about what could happen next, about how long the situation will continue and how it might affect my life, my work, and my future plans. Especially now that I'm already in the space where, I'm thinking about eventually leaving my job. It makes me question things even more because of what's happening right now. Like, what would be my next step? What would I actually do? And even though sometimes I have a lot of ideas about what I could and what I should be doing once I'm done with this job, like I've enrolled in a lot of courses in the past years, and I've learned a lot of new skills that I can basically use and apply in order for me to start something like a freelance or a digital marketing business that I can work on. I just don't know how I should do it. I think that's a problem about learning all these new skills and enrolling into these different types of courses. Like they'll be giving you the main foundation, but it's up to you how are you going to navigate it from your current life to eventually doing the thing. The worst part is all of a sudden both my laptop and my iPad broke down. Both of them have been with me for a very long time. My iPad, I bought it around 2012 and it stopped working about a year ago. And then my laptop, I bought it 2017, so it's almost 10 years old. and it just stopped working last January, right after New Year, right after I tried updating the iOS. That's why I don't really encourage anyone with an old model of anything Apple to update into the current version of the iOS, because it's really going to affect your gadgets. So, yeah, I can bring it to some shop who will be able to help me fix it. But I'm also thinking if I should just invest in a new one, because that's pretty old. I mean, I can still try to fix it and give it to my nephew so they can still, use it, but they won't be able to, like, update it into the latest version. I was already planning to invest into a new laptop or iPad this year, but because of what's happening now, that's kind of changing as well. And I'm having second thoughts because we all know that those gadgets are not cheap. But I am someone who's like, if I'm gonna, upgrade my gadget, I might as well upgrade to the latest version, because then I can simply use it for a very long time. So, like I said, everything that I own lasts me a long time because I'm very, good at taking care of them. So, I'm having second thoughts of buying like I wanted to wait for some time. Hopefully, this tension and uncertainty will subside and everything will be a bit more predictable. So it's easier for me to decide whether it will be a smart decision to buy a new laptop or an iPad. I'll probably just go for the iPad for now. I only have my mobile phone, which is basically what I'm using as well to film this video. I'm just trying to make content on social media, but still I feel like it's not going anywhere. I feel like I'm just stuck and going on circles. This is a salted matcha latte. It's basically just matcha, some heavy cream, water, and a bit of salt. And it's good. It tastes good. I have all the skills, but I don't really know how to strategize them or, to properly apply them. Like, I'm just really lost, to be honest. I've also been trying my best to stay away from the news, but it's really hard to completely avoid all of them, because even when you're just casually scrolling on your phone, like on Instagram or anywhere else, you still see a lot of things related to the current situation, related to the economy. I came across something about what's happening back home in my country, the Philippines. There was news about the president declaring a national energy emergency, about energy shortage, something related to oil and fuel prices increasing. And I saw this interview with a jeepney driver. A jeepney is the public transportation in the Philippines. So he was interviewed and he was talking about how, difficult things have become and how a lot of them can't even afford to keep working anymore because of the sudden increase in fuel prices. And that really affected me because for them, working is already hard enough. And now, even that is being taken away from them. Like, they're stuck in the situation where if they work, they lose money. And if they don't work, they lose more. And I don't know. I mean, seeing things like that, it just makes everything feel more real, more heavy. And I think on top of everything that's happening globally, I also have my own personal things that I'm dealing with, like my situation with my family, because we're not really okay. We're not really talking right now, and honestly, I don't even know how to explain it and how it reached this point where we're not really talking. Well, for the most part, it's my own doing. I stopped talking to them. I stopped reaching out. I just stopped responding to them. And I don't really know how to explain why things ended up like this. And that's another part of my life where I'm so lost. And maybe that's something I can share and talk about on another time. But for now, it's just, it's just another layer, another weight I have to carry and deal with, along with everything that's going on right now. So, with everything combined, what's happening in the world, what's happening in my personal life, I'm feeling very, very anxious and very down. And it's strange, it's strange because most people who know me would probably say that I'm a very positive person, and I am. I think I am on the surface. But deep inside, just like any other people, there are a lot of thoughts going on in my head, a lot of worries, a lot of questions. Sometimes it just becomes too heavy for me to handle. Like lately, I've been feeling this growing sense of worry about the future, not in a panic way, but in a very deep, lingering kind of way. Like, what's going to happen next? Where am I going? What am I supposed to be doing after all of this? And I think all of these things are somehow connected to that feeling I was talking about earlier, that feeling of being in between, like having all the freedom but not having any clear direction, having all the time but not really knowing what to do with it. Maybe that's what this video is really about, just trying to understand that feeling and finally allowing myself to say it out loud. I think what makes this situation a lot tougher for me now is that it's very different from what I experienced during pandemic, because back then I wasn't really living alone. I was sharing a space with five other girls. So in a way, I wasn't really surviving alone. I had people around me who were also going through the same situation. And if you've experienced pandemic, you probably know how intense that time was. It was emotionally draining, and we were all just stuck at home. So during the time, some of my flatmates are still working. I was working at the airport and they were working at the hospital. So both of our environments were at high risk. So it was a very nerve wracking time for all of us. But I was okay with my family back then. Our relationship are still pretty much strong that time. We talk regularly, we were checking on each other regularly. We were doing a lot of video calls, and my grandmother was still alive that time as well. To be honest, it wasn't always easy because as an introvert, I really value and needed my alone time. That's how I recharge, that's how I regain my energy. So during the pandemic, just imagine being stuck in a shared space for 3 months without any real alone time. It was very overwhelming for me. But somehow it also helped because in a situation like that, having people around you makes things feel a little less scary. Now that I'm just, by myself, it's very heavy and scary for me when I think about it, because back then it was a health crisis, and now it feels more like a different kind of threat, something that affects not just your health, but also your safety, the economy, and the overall livelihood of everyone. I think that's where a lot of my anxiety is coming from, because right now I'm okay. I can still function. I'm still very, I will still consider myself very lucky because I still have a job and my company is doing their best to keep everything stable. There's no major, negative news so far, and I'm truly grateful for that. That gives me some sense of stability and security. But at the same time, I also do not disregard the fact that back in pandemic, it reached a point where our company needed to lay off thousands of staff. It was also a time where we were offered to downgrade our contracts from being full time to part time. Like it was one of the decisions made after going through several layoffs. So, it was a very critical moment. And during that time, I decided to downgrade from being full time to part time. There's a separate story about my contract in this company, but that's probably not as important right now. And I'll prefer to save that for another video. But just to give you context, our company was also hit and had to lay off people in order to survive, regardless how much of a big company they are. And right now, I can't just ignore what I've been seeing and hearing on different social media like Instagram, Threads, even Reddit about layoffs happening in some industries, especially in restaurants and hotels where small businesses are already closing down. I'm not sure how accurate everything is, but just seeing those things and knowing that it already happened before, it makes you think, because the truth is things can change anytime, very quickly. And that's what bothers me, I guess. Though it's still far from the situation, if things gets worse, things can fall apart at any time. And I don't know if I'm fully ready for that. I'm not fully prepared yet, financially speaking. I know I'll be fine mentally, emotionally. It's something I can still manage to control and take care of. But financially, that's the part that I worry about the most. I've been trying to rebuild my life, trying to fix my finances, trying to be more responsible of handling my money. If I want to quit my job, I need to have enough savings, a strong foundation, enough stability. But right now, I'm still in the beginning of that process, and it's kind of scary because it feels like everything's happening all at once. Have you ever had that feeling where you're finally decided to do the right thing for yourself, for your life, for every decisions in your life? Like you're finally trying to fix your life, you're trying to be a better person, and then all of a sudden something happens that tests you, tests your patience, your strength, your faith. And that's exactly how I feel right now. When I started this channel, I was very clear with my intention. I wanted to rebuild my life slowly, properly, and I wanted to document it. I wanted to fix my habits, fix my finances, save enough so that when it's finally time for me to leave my job, I will be okay. I don't really have any nerve wracking debt that I owe from anyone or any company or any bank. I just have like my credit card bills, which is I usually use for my basic needs, like groceries and stuff like that. But like I don't have any kind of loans or anything like that. But still, with everything that is happening, it feels like I'm being tested because I know I'm not there yet. And that's the hard part. I have not reached my target yet, especially knowing that I have been working for so many years and I'm still feeling like I didn't manage my money the way I should have. No one really taught me how to handle money properly growing up. And I grew up in a household where there was always that sense of lack. So when I finally started working and earning my own money, all I wanted to do was to pamper myself, give myself everything that I didn't have before. I didn't do it in a luxurious way, like I did not buy Chanel bags, Louis Vuitton stuff, but in small everyday ways, like always eating out. I buy a lot of things that I thought I need but didn't. And I didn't really realize how much that adds up over time. Now, looking back, I understand why I feel this kind of anxiety because I know I could have done better. And now that I'm trying to do better, it feels like the world is shifting and I'm just trying my best to keep up with it. Overall, this is just me sharing how I feel right now. I'm feeling a little lost, kind of defeated, anxious in this moment. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you are feeling the same way, especially with all the uncertainties happening around the world. You can be someone who is growing a family, you know, you probably have kids, you have more responsibilities to carry. And I can only imagine how heavy that must feel, not just financially, but emotionally as well. Thinking about what kind of world we are living in right now and raising children in the middle of all of this. I just wanted to say that I see you and I understand in my own little way, and maybe my situation is incomparable to what you're going through. And for some people, my situation is a lot lighter or probably nothing. So I don't want this to come across as me complaining. This is just me sharing, um, letting things out, and hopefully, this video reaches someone who feels the same, someone who also feels anxious, uncertain, someone who feels a little lost, someone who is just trying to figure things out. I really hope that whatever we're all going through right now comes to an end, that things gets better, that we all come out of this stronger and more grounded. I just wish for peace for everyone, for all of us. And I really don't know if this video made sense. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time and for listening to me blabbing about life. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and God bless. Bye.